Welcome to Season 7 of A Little Birdie Told Me. I'm your host, Rebecca Horan, and on the final episode, episode 12, I'm talking to founder of Wildflower Dublin and Wholehearted Dublin, Danielle Garner. Sponsored by Optimal Follow On. We believe that every feed is a gift. That's why we've dedicated over 50 years to breast milk research. Optimal Follow On milk, your life, our science. Breastfeeding is best. Follow On milk should be used as part of a mixed diet from 6 months. Talk to a health professional. And if you like this episode, it would be a great help if you could like it, share it, and subscribe to the podcast. Delighted and excited to be joined today on the podcast by good old pal Danielle Garner, who's founder of, oh my God, everything, Wildflower, Wholehearted Space. She has 2 children. She is an honest, divine goddess, if you follow her on Instagram, with just so many wonderful, messages of hope, and it just keeps it real. And we love you lots. Hi, Danielle.
Oh, that's so cute. Thank you.
Cute. We're starting off with the cute. But you're just, you have a very good vibe and energy. Would you agree with that?
I feel like it's a constant struggle. Like, I'm trying my hardest I feel like there is like a level of energy frequency you can live in.
Okay. Oh, this is good.
Do you get me?
No, go on, but I like it.
So, like, for a few years there, I was living on like a low vibration energy frequency, and my conversations and my interactions would have been like very hard and like down in the ground kind of conversations. And in the last couple of months, I've realized that like if you just like live in like the lighter frequency, you actually like attract everyone that 100%. Is in that frequency. 100%. You inspire people, they inspire you. You like, I don't know, you just do things in an easier way, and it's more organic.
100%. And sometimes it takes you a long time in life. Like I'm about 7 years older than you. It takes you a long time to understand that, because it sounds woo-woo and bullshitty, right? Yeah. If someone goes, you vibration. But 100%. And like, sorry, we often have grief or hard times or adversity or financial woes. It's not always easy to be on a higher vibration. But I have times where I've been on a low vibration, been down in the dumps, found my conversation super negative and just super charged with emotion or whatever. And I found that people disappear a bit, and, you know, grief is a bit contagious and people don't really want to be involved in that, or you're not bringing out the best in the people around you, right? Like your kids, your friends, the people you manage. So it's like the minute you up that, get away from the bullshit and the noise, and even just not even to fake it to make it a little bit. I know that sounds awful, but just sometimes you have to push through.
Yeah.
And it's better. Everything's better.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like you have to start every day with like, okay, I need to, if I'm feeling a bit weird, like process that and like go through it rather than trying to push it away. And then be like, okay, I'm ready to change the frequency that I'm like moving towards today. And like I even notice if somebody comes into my environment and they're like really stressy, I feel like I'm really empathetic. And like if I experience someone really stressy, especially even in like salon environment, when I'm looking after a client, like sometimes I'll give them a massage, or I'll like sit down and give them meditation to like get them out of it so that I don't take on their energy. Yeah. Because it can look like a tornado come through. If you can imagine like colours of humans as like someone being stressed, they're like red and fiery, and you can see that fire come towards you and you're like, oh God, how do I protect myself? Yeah. And that's like something that I'm trying to change. And I think that everyone's experience of you is like their version of you, so it's what everyone thinks you are.
So true.
Do you get me?
It's perception, because no one really knows you. Yeah. And you're correct. Someone could say, oh, Rebecca Warren's like this, and you can be like, God, I didn't think I was like that.
I didn't experience her like that.
Yeah. So, and then you can say this, or she's an awful wag, and you're like, God, I've never seen that side of her. So you're correct, but you're also bringing a different person on different days.
Yeah.
To how you start the day. But I do agree with you, and I do think this isn't woo-woo, lads. It is an actual choice and decision you make every day when you wake up. I know it's like if you're suffering with a massive illness or your life is on fire for whatever reason, but there are choices. It's like when they say, like Mel Robbins always says, pressing the snooze button is a choice. Yeah. Delaying the thing, not doing the workout, shouting at your kid. It's not always easy. None of us are perfect, but you're right, it's a choice. And someone coming into the salon who had to pay for parking, who was late for you and felt bad already, had a fight with someone, comes in, their energy is then like contagious to your day and how you run your business.
Yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
right, you're trying to bring, it's mad, but I just think you have a light, you have a warmth. One thing I will say about you is, and you could be like, I think you love life, like you love living.
Actually do love life, yeah.
And you love the people, like Jodie Wood will put up a thing she's done with you, and you just see this lovely warmth between you and your clients.
Yeah, I feel like the relationship, I think that's like really important, and I definitely have struggled with being like a people pleaser before.
Yes.
For a long time, still am very much a people pleaser, but I think that, do you know the way we were saying there a second ago about like energy, like people can obviously experience really bad days of me or really good days of me, but it's like the people who stick around with you for a long time, like my best friends are my best friends since I was 6, like my mum and my husband, but my husband 10 years, like I feel like I'm trying my best to continue living a good life with them even when there's hard days in it, because you can't have good days all the time.
No, of course not. But they're like, we know overall she's a joy of, like a ray of sunshine.
We'd hope.
Yeah, we know overall, but it's not always perfect, Danielle, but we know overall.
Yeah.
I knew you in the sense of random as a city gal, but I knew you when I was working in the city as a broadcaster, and you were in Sugarclub,
Style Club.
Style Club.
Style Club on St. William's Street.
And I would come in to Danielle because someone had recommended her. This is how well known she was. And this is going back maybe 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
I was in my late 20s. And someone had said, like, I was like, I really want fresh blonde. I'm sick of the way it is. And I want a really good boho blow dry that isn't like curls stuck up my head. And I'm quite specific. And I remember someone sending me to you and being like, she is a genius goddess.
Was that Georgie Crawford? Because you were broadcasting the same time she was.
Maybe. But I remember coming out looking like I had 10,000 hair extensions, and not in a bad way. But I looked so full and happy, and I always loved going to you.
Yeah, so I was like 25 when I opened my own business. Isn't that mad?
That's
like when I
creepy.
look at a 25-year-old now, I'm like, weird.
I was a baby. I was an Egypt at 25.
I think it's as well, I was in the hairdressing industry from the age of 15. Like, I knew I wanted to be a hairdresser from 7.
Okay, so go on now. Why?
I honestly just, like, adore doing
Was
hair.
your mum in it?
No, so my family are really creative. So my nana is a florist, she's a cake maker, she's a jewellery maker, she sewed all her like clothes as kids, like she sews wedding dresses, like. And then my mum went into the same career when I was around 7. She left her corporate job and went into doing a dressmaking course, and then I watched her doing that throughout my life and seeing like she worked for herself, and she really like was more so on the creative side of living. And I definitely, like, she was a single mom, so I also saw her struggles. So like one thing in my life was like the greatest success of my life will be if I can marry a man who I adore and have children with him, and like no matter what happens, that's actually all that matters to me, because I saw her live that life so hard.
But does that mean you're also like, I know people who've also been raised by wonderful single mothers, and they're slightly obsessed with the idea of having the perfect family because they feel they didn't have it. Do you feel that was always something you, or did it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like it was my dream to get married. Yeah.
to kind of redo the past, or
Yeah, like kind of just to be like, okay, I kind of feel like success to me was like getting married and having children. I know that that's mad.
No, it's not
just,
mad.
Like,
it's kind of a beautiful thing to admit, because a lot of us nowadays are like, marriage is not all that, having kids.
I think marriage is so hard, but I also am like,
it is so hard.
No, I honestly would be like, nothing else matters. Like when we went away for 3 months in our camper van to get married,
this, yeah.
And I was like, this is our home. Like, we literally, it doesn't matter about anything. We are in our home wherever the humans are, because that is our home. Nothing else matters. So anyways,
So you had your mama. Did you have siblings?
I have a little sister, but I've never lived with my little sister. She's my half sister.
Okay.
And
so your dad in your life or not?
Yeah, he's been in my life forever. So my dad and my mum, I'll tell you the story. So my mum met my dad, and then they were together 4 months, and they found out they were 4 months pregnant. So like literally like day one. And he lived in London, so did she, and then she really wanted to move home. Then they got married. It wasn't really a thing. They weren't really meant to be together. Mm-hmm. And then they broke up, but he never left Ireland for me. So he lived here literally because he has a child here. And he literally still lives here. So he lives in Roscommon on his own now. And I went to him every single second weekend, and like my mom's life was very up and down. Like she would be very honest about it. She went through sobriety. She's 30 years sober this year. So like I've experienced all of that with her. And like I used to go to AA meetings with her at like 7 or 8. Like
So you've grown with your mum.
Yeah. But my dad was always a consistent rock. So he was like the truth. My dad never lied to me. Like he was
kind of okay. That's kind of incredibly mind blowing as well. Because when you said I was raised by a single mother, we immediately villainise the dad, right? Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
We go bad egg, fucked off.
Yeah.
You know, the male in her family was like, you've actually said, look, mum and I had a journey, and mum had her frickin' stuff going on, and dad was this rock who stayed in this country without really wanting to. For me, that's
like
insane.
it's like he stopped his life and just continued like to consistently be there. He would collect me from school and we would drive like 4 hours in the car on a Friday, and he would drive on a Sunday back 4 hours in the car, because he used to live in Wexford when there was no motorway. Then he lived in Laytown when there was no motorway, so we used to always have big traffic days because it would be the peak hours of driving. And like we used to just have really deep conversations about the world on them 4-hour journeys. So now, like...
But this is parenting. It's like, it's not
so
perfect.
beautiful.
They weren't together. You weren't living in a Walton's house.
No.
You weren't multimillionaires. And your little tiny memories of childhood are now cropping up. Like attending AA meetings with mum, but also having your mum and seeing her be creative. But my dad in the car on those traffic days. These are the things I remember, going to Cork with my dad in the car and being the only one picked to get into his car with the dog, and listening to Fleetwood Mac and the Rolling Stones, and I still viscerally remember those as my dad memories. And the chats were insane. And you're saying they were good chats. What did you talk about?
He was the same. Like he would always like put on the Beatles and Queen and all of like the really iconic music artists, and he'd be like, who's this singing? And he'd be quizzing me, like to be like, you need to know your stuff.
This is an education,
music.
yeah.
And I feel like I married him. I feel like I married the person of today that is simply like my dad. Like Craig is so dedicated to music. He's really into the Beatles, really like obsessed with history. He's just, you can sit and have deep chats with him, and he's just like the best human being.
Your dad was a good dad then? Good man?
My dad is like the best dad on planet Earth. But like he didn't have like, he didn't financially support my mom. He didn't like do anything that was like over the top, like in terms of materialistic world. Like I actually only at the age of 26 found out that he had cancer when I was 12, and they hid it from me until I was 26. I didn't realise that. So he had cancer, and he was like unwell, but I didn't experience that in my life. It's actually really strange, because I am definitely like a really empathetic person, and he had Hodgkin's lymphoma, so he had a lump removed in his neck. And when I was 12, he broke up with his girlfriend at the time, and I got a lump in my neck, and I had it there for like 3 years, and I never told anyone about it. But I didn't know that he had cancer, and it was like I like had something going on with me in like empathy with him. It was like
sympathetic illness or something.
And now obviously nothing happened from that from me. It must have been like a stress lump or something, but it was like, I don't know, I just feel like...
How does he show up for you in life now?
So when I was about 16, I stopped going down every second weekend, and I was in a really abusive relationship for about 6 years, and I kind of...
6 years?
Yeah, really bad. Like,
but Danielle,
really
you're
bad.
Badass.
Like,
how
it was
would you
so
have
bad.
done with that? 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years.
You met him in secondary school?
Yeah, when I was like 15.
And he was older?
No, same.
He was a dick?
He just started drinking and doing drugs, and started to like rob money, and actually used to rob cars. Like, he was honestly the most sickest human being on planet Earth.
But what, you just he validated you?
I just
you were in love
believed
with him,
just believed that love was the only thing that I needed for success. Wow. If that makes sense. And I believed in like Disney fairy tales, and I always thought that like things would get better.
What is it? You turn the red flags into green flags? You're like, yeah.
Yeah,
I
lost a lot of friends and stuff, but to be honest, at the very end, like when I ended up leaving, I was just turning 21, and one thing I just remember I used to lock myself in the bathroom. We lived in an apartment in Shankill, and I used to lock myself in the bathroom and have a bath for like hours on end to try like just get away from him. And I remember my best friends, who I had like stopped kind of being around, like literally had to take me out of the apartment like through a window, and all of my possessions through a window, to escape him. Like, he was so bad.
But you could have stayed in that forever.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's a massive, like, congratulations to you, because women stay in that. It's really hard to get out of that.
Yeah, and I think I see everything as a gift. I feel like it was the gift of learning what love should not be.
But also now Craig, it's like, he shows up and it's like, that was how fucked up.
Like, it's so fucked up to like experience something like that in your life, and I feel it really breaks my heart when, like, I see I actually got pregnant for him when I was 17, and I decided to not go ahead with the pregnancy. And
why did you decide that? Because of age, or because
I would have died. I literally would have died. Like, there was days I was like, I think I should walk in front of that bus to get away from this life. Like, it was so bad.
Why did you stay then?
That was at the very end when I was like, maybe the bus will be better. Do you know, like, that's how bad it was. And then I decided to leave at that point.
Did you feel desperate? Did you feel he was minding you? Did you feel like, why?
I suppose it was like, maybe if he was so manipulative that he made me believe that nobody else cared about me. Like, he made me be like, your mom doesn't love you, like, your dad doesn't like you, you've no friends left.
Did you cut your mum out in that time?
Yeah, I left my mum's house when I was like 18 to go and live with him. And then when I was just about to turn 21, I said, no, fuck this. I need to leave. He used to just, you know, I used to do hair at home when I was like learning to do hairdressing, and he used to like come into the room and be like, we need milk, and I'd have to ask the client to pay for their hair so that I could go get milk, and he would take the money and just go to the bookies and just take all the money. It was mental. It was honestly I feel like every part of a bad relationship that you might happened in that relationship. Like, it was crazy. So yeah.
What's happened to him? Do you know anything about him?
Oh yeah, he's like, I feel like he has a mad life now, but he doesn't live in Ireland. I don't like see anything of him. He has a crazy life.
Sad for the person he was? Do you feel triumphant for yourself? Do you not think about it ever? Do you think about your boys and how you raise them? Does it colour every single thing in your life?
It doesn't colour everything now. For 2 years I was like, fuck boys. So when Craig came up to me in the pub that time, I was like,
Danielle was telling me before we started the podcast, I was like, Craig's just lovely and you're lovely. And she's like, Craig came up to me in a pub and was like, I want to go on a date, and I thought he was a serial killer. Because you were so shocked by someone being chill and kind.
Yeah, a nice human. So he was like, I feel like when Craig met me, I was at a point where I was like, I actually need to love myself more than anyone will love me, so that...
But that's a really hard... Like, I think I'm on that journey too, and I'm 40. Like, it's not that easy to be like, I'm just going to tomorrow just start loving myself so people are a bit nicer to me. Like, it's a tricky one.
Yeah, I was like, I actually think to just look... My thing was, I need to look after myself more than anyone else around me will, because nobody actually cares more about you than you do.
But it takes you ages to get...
It takes you ages. But I feel like I learned that really young. So I learned that at like 21, because I was like, in the hairdressing world, I had just qualified. I had my own apartment. I then had to like remove all my stuff from the apartment and live in my friend's mom's attic. Like, it was crazy. And then I think like it took me 2 years to be like, I love myself more than anyone's going to treat me bad. So I then met Craig at a time where it organically bloomed into, oh, you really like what you like about yourself, and I really like what I like about myself. So let's just like
bring the good stuff.
Make that even better.
It's true that when you're falling in love, what is that? Like, you're falling in love with yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. So like when you're falling in love with a man or a woman and you're fucking having the best all time, you're really falling in love with yourself again. You're really seeing all your good shit in reflection. It's a mirroring. It's like, he thinks I'm so hot, he thinks I'm funny, he thinks I'm fun to be with. I think that, like, it's honestly, it's all of that just reverberates, and it's a mirror.
And it's the energy frequency.
100%. And then when you're not in a good vibe with the other person, they're not in love. Like, it is an energy frequency, and falling in love is that dopamine. It's that. But I'm so glad you found each other. I'm not going to say, oh, you know, you're so lucky to have Craig, because like, I'm so glad you found each other.
Yeah, I think we're genuinely so lucky to have each other. And do you know what? Like, in saying that, I feel like every birth is like, so I've had 2 children. I have a 6-year-old and I have a 1-year-old tomorrow. And I had a loss in the middle of it. And I feel like every birth of a child or every experience as a woman that you go through with birthing, you're actually having to learn to love yourself again.
100%.
Because I am only like a year postpartum, and God love Craig. Like,
but you're doing
like,
phenomenally well for a
okay,
year
hon?
postpartum. I was a mess. You okay, hon? Like I was. If I think about my first holiday with Gia at 1 with Jason, Jesus, I just remember everything being wrong, everything being too hot, everything being annoying. She was on the boob full time.
Yeah, I'm still breastfeeding
I was
full
not
time.
a vibe. Like I just everything pissed me off. And then Simone, I think the gratitude was like similar to you, a bit of a struggle to have her. So I think there was a lot of like, but then I became quite obsessed with her, and so. You're doing phenomenally well. Like you are working, you are putting out content, you are mothering, you are friending. Like fair play. I wouldn't be on a podcast with a kid turning a year tomorrow. It was a mess. It was a fruit basket.
No, I don't think
I remember
so.
coming in here for a meeting, and Simone was 2 years ago actually, and I had to have a meeting to come back after mat leave, and I remember crying in the loo before coming up because I had no confidence to sit in that corporate meeting. Yeah, so you're awesome.
Well, I don't think I'm awesome, but I don't think that I'm a good stay-at-home human.
No,
No?
it gives me. I get a rash. Like I think
really
people are
love being a
so
mum.
saucy and sexual that can do that. I cannot
Same.
believe some
I
of the women
admire
I
them.
know who are like, yeah, I gave it up, and I'm like, no, that's cool that you gave up a shit job, but would you go do something? No, I want to be here. I want to pick. I think, wow.
I think it's incredible.
I do it for like the odd Easter break or midterm, and I'm like, nobody likes me anymore. Like it's just not for me, but it's not for everyone.
But I think it is to do with, though, like, if you want the slow, calm, mellow life.
No.
I think I have ADHD.
100% I have.
So, like, my
Maybe we
therapist
gave it
told
to
me
each
that.
other.
Yeah, probably. My therapist told me that, and then my business mentor told me that. And it's
don't
like,
get diagnosed. You don't need to know now at this
yeah,
stage.
I'm like, I know, guys. It's clear. Everyone's knows.
Everyone's pathologic. Like we all have everything. We're all on
Yeah.
the spectrum. But like, I mean, you just couldn't live in a chill, sitting at. You just couldn't.
I'm okay with it. Like, I feel like
That's why you're creative.
Yeah, I make peace with who I am.
Stephanie Preiser was on the podcast, and she had been diagnosed with ADHD. I was just like, it's kind of a strength, but she goes, it isn't a strength when you don't know and you wonder why you're different, why you can't focus on something. And she described something really beautiful. She's like, what I hated most was I liked control and routine and things going my way and all of my friends not liking Boyzone anymore because they were all into Blur. And she's like, when the fuck did this meeting happen? And it was the funniest thing. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, it was just this, like, I'd come back from the summer break into school and they were all into Britpop. And she's like, we all like Boyzone. And it was just so funny how she described this ADHD, like wanting to control some things, but then chaos in the other area of your life. And it was beautifully descriptive. But what you think you are because you couldn't just sit and chill?
So I think that I'm really productive when I have a lot of things on.
Same. Like you're juggling a lot of stuff. Same. What is that?
Oh, it's ADHD.
Like you saw me at the desk there, and I was like, "There's an email. I'm finishing my lunch. I've this or something." And that to other people would be like, that's really disorganized and stressed. But that's when I'll get stuff done today.
Yeah, that's when I would actually be tunnel visioned enough to get it done. Yeah, it's like, I think that we have to learn coping mechanisms. I think I also have a bit of OCD because, like, my wardrobes have to be like colour coordinated for me to feel calm enough. Yeah, it's real weird.
Because you don't want all of everything. It's just like you want it in your.
Yeah, I need
your
it
colours,
to be.
You're also quite a neutral. Like I find your colouring and your vibe and your textures, you're not really going for mad outlandish pink and stuff, right?
No,
like your whites and greens and browns and blacks. Yeah.
I know. I don't like black anymore. It doesn't describe my personality. I've realised that recently. But anyway, sorry. So on my first baby, I went back to work after 2 weeks. But Craig was a stay-at-home dad, so he was studying to be a teacher in college, and he was at home looking after Harrison.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks is intense.
I also had an emergency section.
Yeah, you're still bleeding. You're probably a bit postpartum. You're definitely not with the beat. You're definitely an emotional.
I was fucked.
You had to, or you were like, get me out?
So basically, I opened my business when I was
Wildflower in Ranelagh.
24, yeah.
But it wasn't. Was it always in Ranelagh? Yes.
Yeah. So I
Amazing.
opened that at 25. It was 3 months open.
Okay.
Then me and Craig were like, do you know what? We love each other so much that we need something to be a part of us, so that if one of us die, at least we have something else.
Okay, that's
right?
crazy. Yeah.
That was literally what happened.
Huh.
6 days later, pregnant.
Yeah. Because
So-
you're having a lot of sex and you think it's a good idea. I get this.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
just loving each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 6 days later, I was pregnant. So literally, when I gave birth to Harrison, it was the day that Wildflower turned 1.
Shit.
So it was a baby. as well as having a baby.
Yeah.
So I
Wow.
felt like I had to go back, and then I felt very deprived of when I had to go back. And I breastfed for 6 months.
Okay.
He used to come in with me.
Okay.
I'd be doing your hair, and Harrison would be on your lap.
Great.
Bleach all over.
But amazing that you did, like, that's
I tried
kind of
to
cool
adapt
as
it,
well.
like,
yeah,
yeah.
you brought, and he became part of the bit. I mean, I kind of love that women who bring their baba in. It's that very old, like, Texan movies where you'd see the mama and all the girls in the community minding the baby as they did. Like, that's really, because we're not that child friendly in Ireland, and we're not that baby friendly or animal friendly at all, really. So I love that feeling that you were like, this is my business, I'm bringing my baby in.
Yeah, and I was like, if I need to be here, so does he. So Craig used to like really support me in that way. And then
did you love being a mom?
I love being a mom. It's honestly like one of the greatest gifts of life for me.
What kind of mama are you?
I don't know. I would like Harrison like meditates and all.
Yeah, but are you strict and firm with boundaries and routine because you want that for them, and maybe because you grew up with a single parent that you want them to have the stability, or are you kind of off your rocker, let's do yoga poses and just...
No, I'd be very strict with routine.
Yeah.
We're so strict around nutrition.
Yes.
I'd be really like just mindful of everything. But Harrison struggled with eczema, asthma, allergies, and developmental from like the ages of 1 to 4.
Yeah.
So like I really struggled with that, and I have got really bad health anxiety from it. Like to the point where if he has a cough, I'm like
because there was so many hit at you at one time.
Like when
how's he doing now?
When he turned 1, he ended up in he was 13 months when he ended up in hospital on oxygen for 6 days from a virus. So literally he's been like through respiratory since then, and it's only now that like he still has a steroid inhaler. He's absolutely thriving. He is like the best child ever. But I'm like so like freaked out about making sure that he stays safe, and I think that health anxiety has passed on to River. So breastfeeding, and I'm like, I have to breastfeed, and I have to make sure I sleep with it. Like there's so many things that has affected River's life, and also the loss, I suppose, has affected that too.
And Harrison developmentally now much better, it's all getting okay.
Yeah, like he went to this school called Nature's Kindergarten.
It's great
in Kilrudy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Do you know it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
oh, it's
a lot of my friends'
good.
kids go there. Yeah.
And they told us that he had a speech delay, and we were like, sure, he just has a dodie. He'd be grand. Once he took the dodie out, he was grand. Okay. But it was like, it kind of just felt like you had to push him on. Yeah. He didn't really go for it before anyone else, do you know? So, yeah.
It sounds like he's just in his chill vibes.
Yeah, he was just chill.
It's probably a bit like piss off, mum.
Yeah, just get
I sometimes think with all this nonsense, like, my little Brian's met all the things and he's already doing algebra, and it's just intense though, Danielle, and I think until they're 5 and you can actually start going, okay, I'm acutely concerned about this, you kind of need to go with the flow.
I do think
it's
so
too. It's a lot of competitive fucking parenting.
Yeah, so I feel like with River, I'm definitely more go with the flow. Like he hasn't, he didn't eat until he was 8 months old. He is only sleeping.
You let him do it
in his own room. Doing, is what you're 3 saying. Days. You know, like he can just enjoy it. But I definitely do get anxiety still.
I think being a mom is just one big ball of anxiety, and then you pretend you're like, it's so beautiful, I love it, but it is, you're literally, little humans are reliant on you. I actually spoke to a guy in work there, and he goes, a guy on break there, and he goes, oh, my mate came from a family of 13.
What?
And I was arse end of nowhere or something, and it was just the norm, right? And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, that's really awful for them. And he goes, no, because you know, it was kind of incredible. The mum wasn't under pressure because they were raising each other.
Oh yeah, I've heard
and
that.
And
then
I
over
was kind of like,
right?
He goes, no, of course, because the mom had to fucking do all the other shit. The dad was out working. It was that kind of time in the 80s, 90s Ireland. But they all raised each other. I mean, how good that went, I don't know. But I think because we've 2 kids and it's a more modern, like, it's all on us, right?
Yeah, it's definitely harder.
I love the names River and Harrison. Talk to me, Danielle, because I think a lot of people know you from being best stylist in Dublin, business owner, Wildflower, seeing all the incredible influencers and gorgeous people that you style, and their hair colour is always insane. And now you've got this great space as well, Wholehearted. Like, you're doing all this great stuff, right? But I think people who didn't know about the mama side of you and the other side of you, you really hit a nerve and a chord when you spoke about your pregnancy loss in a way that was so not expected, sensationalist. There was nothing. It was the most beautiful. I remember just reaching out to you going, wow. Talk to me about that.
So in 2021 we decided to have a second baby. Harrison was 2.5, and I think I must have suffered with like postpartum depression, with the like intensity of like owning our own business at the same time without knowing it. And then we went into lockdown, so there was just a lot going on. So I got pregnant when I was in 2021, and it was the August of that year, and the baby grew until I was 15 weeks pregnant. So it was a second trimester loss. And I don't think people realise the intensity of it, but at that time, because we were in lockdown, so I don't even know if we were in lockdown at that point. I think we were out of lockdown, or we were going back into one. I don't really know, but it was, people didn't really regard you as a human in the hospital settings. So I had a private doctor, a consultant, because I was very traumatised by Harrison's birth because it was an emergency section. And I really didn't want anybody to take the piss at me. Again, I was like, no, I'm going to be in control of this. Maybe the ADHD thing came in there. But I got pregnant, and I was seeing this consultant, and I remember doing a shoot. It was actually the first time I met Rosie Connolly. And I was doing a shoot with her that day. It was like the best day ever. I had the best time. Rosie is like an actual angel. She's like literal light. She is. And I came home that night, and I was like so excited to go to the day 2 part of that photo shoot. And I fell asleep on the couch, and I woke up at, do you want me to tell you the whole story? Yeah. I woke up at 4 a.m. and there was just a little bit of blood, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I'll just go in. Do you know what actually happened was my friend had gotten COVID, and she was living with us at the time. And she's told me that I had to go into isolation. So I had to go into isolation for 2 weeks, but I had just gone out of isolation from 2 days before that. And I went into the hospital, and because I was in isolation, I didn't have COVID or anything. I was put into an isolating room, and a nurse came in and she scanned me. And when she scanned me, I went in on my own and all. I was grand. Harrison was in bed. You were just like, I'll check. Yeah. I was like, I'll just get out of the house. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's a bit of blood and I'm pregnant. I'll check. Yeah. Harrison was in bed. Craig was in bed still. I was like, I'm just going to go in. I just text Craig. I didn't even tell him wake up him or anything. And went in, and she said, I can't really find a heartbeat, so I'm just going to get someone else. And I was like, what? And then she got the doctor in, and they checked it again, and there was no heartbeat. And they were like, we're going to get your consultant to come in, because it's like 8 o'clock in the morning at this stage. And my consultant came in, and because I was in isolation, they basically said that you're better off leaving and taking these tablets, and the blood will pass. So it will just be like big clots of blood in the toilet. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know what's going on, but obviously I was devastated, so I just kind of was like...
So they said to you, you've lost this pregnancy?
Yeah, lost the pregnancy, and I was going to have to go home.
And they knew you were 15 weeks pregnant?
Yeah.
So where's the trauma and therapy and counsellor and nurse?
They were like, you're just going to have to take these tablets and the baby will pass.
Instead of having a
D&C, or instead of it passing when I was in there. So I went home, and when I went home, I was like kind of just lying there, and like I had to take like 3 rounds of the tablets. It was kind of like, do you know the tablets that they give for like if you don't want a pregnancy?
Yeah.
I think they're the same thing.
Like blockers. So
I took the tablet, and one of my best friends had a miscarriage at she was 13 weeks pregnant, and she said that she never saw the baby. So she said, you need to have like something to catch the baby, because if you want to like do some sort of ceremony, you'll be able to go about your day with this. And go and like hold some sort of ritual or ceremony to like say bye to the soul of your baby. And obviously I feel like I'm talking about it very lightheartedly here, but it's like to not make it too heavy for you. But basically the tablets worked, and I passed the baby without any blood. So I literally gave birth to the baby at home, and we buried the baby, and it was like the most bizarre situation that has ever happened in my life, because it was like I had so much trauma, I had so much fear around lockdown, fear around COVID, fear around being able to birth the baby, fear around my body, like not knowing whether I had the power in my body to be able to birth, or was there something wrong with me. And I had contractions, the waters broke, I gave birth to my baby, and I could see my baby like in my hand, like, and it was like the most empowering, beautiful experience to be able to do that yourself. And it gave me so much hope to know it was as if the soul of my baby was giving me a gift, to know that I had power again, or like that I had control over my body, and that the baby would come back when I was going to learn the lessons that the baby was teaching me. I know that doesn't really make sense, and it kind of sounds woo-woo, but it was like a knowing of like a whole love from the baby as a blessing, to be like, you have more power in your body than you think you do. So it took me a very long time to get over that.
You were traumatised?
Yeah, very traumatised.
How was Craig?
We were both very, very traumatised.
And you're raising Harrison.
Yeah.
And it's COVID, and you're running a business.
We went up and buried the baby like at the ferry mountain and stuff. So we had like a really nice ritual with that. But I felt, so we actually got engaged like 4 weeks later. And when I went back to work, I'll never forget this. One of the girls who worked like in my building but not with me, she came down the stairs and said, "Oh my God, congratulations on your engagement." It was my first day back. I took 4 weeks off to like be able to adjust. And she was like, "Oh my God, it's your first day back. Congratulations, I can't believe you got engaged. And I just want to show you this." And it was like a picture of her scan of her baby. And I was like, "Are you fucking well?"
Had you just shared this? You'd shared it on Instagram at the stage?
Yeah, she knew. She knew exactly that I had lost my baby. So it was nuts. People react mad when things like that happen. But
That's not mad. She's a fucking whack.
Yeah, so basically the whole thing was, I was like, I'm going to funnel myself into getting the healthiest I possibly can be. I'm going to like do everything better for the business, everything better for my family, and everything better for my body, so that when I get married, I will be able to get pregnant again and give birth to a baby with a better mindset and a better body. So I put a lot of pressure on myself.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm absolutely disgusted for you on behalf of you for the treatment you received. I do think there's a million zillion stories like that through COVID where we were all treated really shoddily, right? And shoddily isn't even the word, because women's health in this country has been in the toilet for a long time. As we know, Hep C cases, thalidomide baby, the sex scandal, like it's just a shit show for women. And the fact that it was 2020, whatever, COVID or fucking not, like my husband lay in the car outside Holles Street, also the same stuff going on, or when I had to go in for pregnancy loss, sitting on my own, like you will never know as a man what women go through, right? You just won't. So as a male consultant, if you can't have that empathy, get someone else in the door, right? But I'm so sorry you went through that. But I'm also heartbroken for you that you put so much pressure on yourself, and you were so hard on yourself, and you were like, I'm going to, get married, get myself together, get it all right, because obviously I wasn't, like, none of this was your fault.
I put so much shame on my body for it, like so much.
I did too. Danielle, I hated my body.
Yeah, same.
I literally was repellent, would fight it in the gym, thought it needed to be this, wasn't going to eat this. It was nothing to do with anything. It was nothing to do with anything. Same. Lula stuff.
Yeah, it was mad. And then a week before we got married.
But you shared on Instagram, and I have to say, was that cathartic for you or not at all? Or did you give a shit, or did you just not care about that stuff? Do you not feel that doing that, did you find the outpouring a bit overwhelming, or was that nice?
So I really felt that I had been hard done by the state of how, like, the doctor who I gave €1,000 to, like, didn't just disregarded me and didn't even check if I was okay. I was really upset by that, and it was actually that I was like, Jesus Christ, if I'm being treated like this and I'm a private healthcare,
can you imagine what's going on downstairs?
Yeah, what's going on in the rest of the place? So it was that reason. It was kind of from my own experience, being like, I feel like people aren't aren't able to speak about this, and I cannot explain to you the amount of people who responded and said that happened to me and I didn't tell anyone. And that was like really eye-opening to me, because like I think it's because I have so many conversations with clients in the chair. I think that like being a hairdresser is also a gift of like connection, because I really know what's going on.
You do, and you know from people going, where are you going on holiday, and the inane shots, then you can get to the root of it if you want to, and then sometimes people don't, and you know things
to be honest, like I never really have them shallow shots. Like.
But even if you know someone doesn't want to get into something, you'll get there eventually, because you know, but like, you are an influencer in your own right. I know you're probably a bit like, but you have a profile, you have following. So by doing that and having the platform, you've just helped so many other ladies, like you just have.
Yeah, I couldn't get over the amount of people who got in touch and were like trying to seek any kind of like comfort in how they felt. And I think like I was so grateful for my friends at that time. Even though I was in isolation, they were like rocking up at the door with food. They were
You'd
like,
be surprised that the people are sounder than you.
Showed up,
people, but like random people that you kind of think you're kind of friendly with, they're dropping apple pies and you're like, God, people like me. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Did it take you ages to conceive again? Did you even want to do that? What are your thoughts around that?
So I put a lot of pressure and blame on my body and so I was like struggling with trying to figure out what to do with being pregnant and getting the vaccine at that time.
Yes.
And I think that was probably the biggest stress that caused me to miscarry.
Do you think so?
Yeah. Like
So I got the vaccine, and immediately afterwards I was like, it's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. So I found that so after that I put so much pressure on my body. Like I went to the gym all the time. I was like trying to eat as healthy as possible. And I had this goal that we would go and get married like a year and a half later, and we'd be pregnant for our wedding, or just if not just after. And I remember on the day of my wedding being like severely anxious and severely stressed to the point that I was like, I'm just too tired to function. Do you know, like that, like child,
jaded,
like tired that you're like, you just need a night's sleep.
yeah, or a hug.
That's what I was like the night before and the night after my wedding. Not the day of the wedding, like I was in my prime the day of the wedding.
Yeah, beautiful
but
wedding.
I was just so overwhelmed. But I was actually a week pregnant when I got married. So River was at our wedding as well, which is very special.
That is so special.
Yeah. So I felt like, I think to be honest with you, like the main thing for me was getting away from everything for the 3 months with Craig in the camper van.
What made you do that?
It's just a dream of mine was to leave and explore in like a slow manner, to just experience life. And it was also the year before Harrison was starting big school. So I was like, we don't really have any other time where he's just ours. He's gonna make friends.
Where did you go though?
So we drove from Ireland through to the UK, to Hull, to Wales, then to Hull, then Rotterdam, Luxembourg, France, Germany. Then we went into Switzerland. Then we drove through Italy. We got to Italy. We had the best time in Italy. Went to a Damien Rice concert on Lake Garda. And Damien Rice is like our favourite.
Whistleblower's daughter is one of my favourite artists.
And our first concert together was Damien Rice. And it was Harrison's first concert in Lake Garda, and it was in an amphitheatre outdoors on the greatest stage. Like, it was honestly just like sacred. It was so beautiful. And after that, then we got married. All of our friends, we had like 130 people who came over and celebrated our life in Lake Garda. And then we drove from there through Italy, France, and northern Spain.
Okay, but question. If you're someone who craves a bit of chaos, running a business, meeting people, did you find that hard? And I'm not saying you switched off, because obviously you were sightseeing and busy, but was it an intense 3 months for you?
No, it wasn't. Okay. So I lost like 10 kg while I was there. I think that my body, like, it holds on to stress. I think that my cortisol levels are like high, and that's what like keeps me feeling like my body is not normal. Do you know what I mean? And I think that when I went over and we were living just a slower life. Your slower life is actually still very, very chaotic.
Because you have a kid and you have a life.
Like, you have a camper van that you have to try keep going. You have to like reorganize your camper van, reorganize the tent, go on an adventure. We had like electric bikes that we had connected to the camper van, and we were always doing something, plus keeping a 4-year-old like entertained. So there was never a need. And I also was planning a wedding. So I was also still in touch with work and not like completely disconnected. I knew everything that was going on at home. So it was just that I was more remotely working and remotely living our lives where we were like connected, because we had like the best time of our lives in lockdown when we were just together.
What are your hopes and dreams for your family? Like, what are your, like, we've worked in your space, Wholehearted. It's absolutely brilliant. If you don't know it, we all will know that you're a kick-ass woman running Wildflower. Making stuff in my head. Yeah, okay, yeah. You're raising Harrison and River. What are your hopes and dreams?
My hopes and dreams are that we one day will be able to buy a house. I'd love to buy a small house, like maybe a cottage. And Craig's an Irish and history teacher, so ideally we would want to travel and like live in our camper van in the summers.
Yeah, so take those months.
Yeah. And yeah, I want to have like an easy, content life. But I also love that like when I'm working with my business mentor, she's like, you kind of have to stop doing hair now because you're so busy doing everything else. And I'm really creative. Like, I love doing everything to do with marketing. I love business development, coming up with ideas, coming up with events. So I don't physically need to be doing hair anymore. So I think that me stepping into a role like that more will help my life at home and my life in work be less chaotic, trying to fit everybody in, and still doing hair at the odd time. And yeah, my children, I would love to have 4 children. So would Craig. Craig would be a stay-at-home dad. He's like, his sole purpose in life is to be a dad. You're
such a dishy couple, the two of you. You're like the most photogenic peeps in the universe.
No, we're not.
Danielle's tiny and Craig's much taller than her, and they're just really like cute. They look like something out of a Fleetwood Mac video. They're just gorgeous. But like, we need to remember Danielle Garner is, creating this beautiful content, making women feel really good and empowered about themselves, raising a family, speaking her truth. And was also someone who shaved Georgie Crawford's head when she was going through the worst time in her life. Yeah, I mean, that video is still very compelling for people who've gone through cancer and any illness or any loss. You shaving her head, at being there because you had done her hair at a wedding and there was a relationship built up, and she trusted you in that really sacred moment to do that. And it just shows that people love you a lot.
I love them. I feel like it's a very two-way system.
Yeah.
Like, once I have a connection with a client, like, they are my like soul sister. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm just there for them and they're for me, and it's really organic. So you know the way when you're saying kind of like I look after influencers, like I definitely don't have relationships with anyone that is not in the two-way system of supporting, loving, like in your corner. It's like they're all just good human beings, and they look after me as much as I look after them, which is like the way that hairdressing should be. It shouldn't be a case of like, I feel like the hairdressing world has kind of taken from connection and relationships.
It's like a service thing, and they just
or like, especially in the influencing world, they're like, come here and get your hair done for free, and then no one takes it serious. Whereas I don't do that. I'm like, if you're here, you're here with me, and you're paying for me to do your hair as well.
Yeah. The world is a better place for Danielle Garner. I wanted to have her on. I wanted to have these conversations. I think sometimes it's about timing, and it's about getting each other at a time where it's going to bring out the best. And I'm so honoured that you came on to talk to me. Thank you, Danielle.
So much.
Sponsored by Aptamil Follow On. We believe that every feed is a gift. That's why we've dedicated over 50 years to breast milk research. Aptamil Follow On milk, your life, our science. Breastfeeding is best. Follow-on milk should be used as part of a mixed diet from 6 months. Talk to a health professional. If you like this episode, will you please rate it, subscribe and share it with others? This helps me get the guests that you want to hear.